Oh shit, we're live. Damo, what episode are we up to? 84. Yeah, he's on the ball. Alright. Tonight, we've got a good friend of mine. Taylor, Lala. Say hi.
I don't know where I'm looking, so...
Oh, we'll have to watch out for the cat. He's got a habit of knocking over my lava lamps. Come on, off you get. Fatty, off. Alright, let's get this episode on the roll. So I started off all the time, all the same, always. So who are you and what do you do? How do you get in the music industry? Put you on the spot.
Classic. Okay. Well, my actual name is Taylor. I go by Lala. I'm a DJ and I've been doing it for about the last 3.5 years now. In terms of,
I thought it would have been longer than 3.5 years.
3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, unless I've screwed that up somehow.
Well, when did I first meet you at the Scotto? I thought that was like 4 years ago.
No, it probably would have been about 3.
Okay.
No, maybe around 2.5 years ago, actually.
Okay, yeah, the time flies when
like
you're having
that.
fun, right?
It just flies. Let's be honest. It's not even necessarily while you're always having fun. It just definitely flies.
Yeah.
But you know, we're there. But I don't know what else do you want from that question. Like,
well, so like, where have you played? What got you into music?
Oh, well,
sorry.
Yeah,
like...
it was a very long question.
Yeah.
So break it down for me. What got me into music? I've been doing music since I was maybe like 8. So I started off by playing piano, then cello, and then oboe. I ended up doing specialist music during high school as well. So
what's an oboe?
An
Damo,
oboe?
can you look that up?
Do you know what an oboe is? Just Google it.
Yeah, he's gonna Google it.
It's a woodwind instrument.
I think you have told me about this before,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it actually sounds a bit like a duck.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've ever heard of
Oh, it's one of
Peter and the
those
Wolf?
things.
Peter and the Wolf.
Peter and the Wolf. Huh?
It's this orchestral piece, and like they have different instruments as different animals, and so the oboe is the duck,
Okay.
and so it does really sound like a duck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But
what made you want to start learning that?
well, I actually just was wanting to get into music in high school, and so I went to just like this open night almost, and they had like all of these different instruments play.
And you're like, that one?
The oboe that played, and I just thought it was amazing. And
Okay.
so when I was putting down my preference instrument I want to play, I was like, I put it up there, and that's what they gave to me. So
Okay.
it was really good. I don't regret it for a second, actually. But it's a strange one. Every time I tell someone that I play oboe, they're like, "Oh, is that the really big, like, silver one?" And I'm like, "No, that's a tuba, which is a brass instrument." And like, if you saw the photo, it looks nothing like it. Like,
Yeah, that's
it also
it. Yeah.
sounds nothing like it.
Yeah,
As well.
Damo, can you compare a tuba when you get back to the show? Let's have a look.
It literally looks nothing like it.
And so all the other instruments as well?
Oh, cello and piano, just like. Yeah,
Well, cello's not so like, you know, generic, but piano everyone plays. A lot of people play piano.
I started piano because my parents were trying to help me do more music, and then cello, they just had the like instrument program at school, so
Okay.
you just kind of, depending on the year, you do the music test almost is the instrument you get given. So.
Well, see, I actually learned how to play the piano when the violin a little bit when I was younger,
Yeah.
and then I dabbled in the cello, and I found the cello so hard to do. But
Really?
I was a little kid though, so
Okay.
I was like trying to balance.
They
this
do
thing,
have
like...
kids cellos, like
Yeah,
there are
I know.
smaller ones.
I know, I had a
like-
small one, but I
Yeah.
was just like, Uncle, it was all hell though. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't know. I think the cello is actually probably is the most versatile string instrument. in my
Really?
opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's very mid-range, so you can go really high and you can go lower as well, compared to the violin's just high, and then the
Okay.
double bass is very low and hard to play almost.
Mm.
You're gonna do the comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
there you
Yeah,
go. So how
like
does
I
that
said,
look like that?
this is the conundrum that's in my head
Yeah.
every time. They're like, "Is it that?" And I'm like, "No, definitely not."
And so, like, what happened after that though? Like, how many years did you do those instruments for?
Well, I did piano pretty much just during primary school, so maybe for like 4 to 4 years, maybe. And
Okay.
then cello I also did in mainly primary school, but I did up until year 9. in high school, and then I've been playing oboe since year 8. So I haven't been playing as much the last year just because I'm not at UW anymore.
Okay.
Because I used to be part of the medical students orchestra there. So I played but that whole time though. So
that's pretty cool to be part of the medical students, you know, the orchestra.
I like managed to just squeeze my way in there because a rare instrument. So they were like, yeah, you come even though you're not a medical student. And I'm like, yeah. I'll come play for you. Like, yeah, you're so welcome.
I thought you were studying medicine as well, weren't you?
I was studying physiology.
Physiology, yeah.
So, human sciences. Not actual.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's go back to the music anyway.
Yeah, music. Yeah. And then in terms of how I got into DJing was through EMAS. So, the Electronic Music Appreciation Society.
Yep.
I like to not break it down. I think it sounds better as the acronym.
Yep.
But kind of got into that in second year and then just kept going really. So it was definitely really good to start off that way. But
well, they help so many people just get into it and like.
Oh, 100%.
Did you ever do any of the lessons or anything like through them as well?
Yeah, I did. So the first lessons I actually ever did was one of the girl DJ lessons.
Okay.
So Courtney Elliott Illicit, she was like one of my first teachers ever.
Oh wow, she was a teacher as well.
Yeah, well, I've
never met the girl, but I've seen her a little bit on Facebook and stuff.
Well, she just supported one of the biggest D&B artists in the world on the weekend. So she supported Dimension.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, there you go.
Absolute insanity.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just kind of took it from there and kept going. But it's kind of funny whenever you start part of something, you always kind of have to break away from it at the same time. So,
okay. What do you mean by that?
Oh, it's just labeled as an EMAS DJ for a while.
Okay, yeah.
Which I feel like other people have the same thing, whether they, went to Lab 6 or something. Sometimes they'll get labeled as a Lab 6 DJ, maybe for like their first year or so, until they kind of make a name for themselves outside of that group.
Well, that makes sense though. It's the same thing with like the Your Shot DJs.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like they just start there. And
they would have started and been like, "Oh, you're a Your Shot DJ." So
and there's so many of them out there now as well.
Yeah.
Until we get the next event here, and there'll be even more out there. But
yes, that's true. But I don't know. Considering how many people were part of that like program and everything, I'm kind of surprised how big the drop-off rate almost was.
Yeah.
Because there's only really a handful of people that I kind of still see around doing that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know how it is, like you can pay for like a music course, or you can go and pay to learn another language or something like that, but then like it's not the success rate, but to keep using it after, it's like unless you're actually, you know, that's the thing as well. I was talking about this last week where, you know, there's so many DJs in Perth, and it seems like sometimes like the toxicity that can occur is because people have gigs that others don't have, and people are really trying to get gigs, and then they're trying to make a name for themselves, but they don't get an opportunity or a chance, and then just keep getting, you know, pushed down, and they try and then they give up.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like that's one of the things, like something that Your Shot wouldn't prepare you for is actually how competitive it is, as well as how important it is to actually just network, and how difficult it actually can be in terms of actually like making that impact that you do, compared to something like Lab 6. I feel like those, like, because they have kind of more gigs associated with them in a way, they have more of an idea what they're getting into compared to something like Your Shot. Like, you would have had no idea. Like, I didn't even really have any idea how insane it was until I got into it, and it took multiple attempts for me to get where I am now. Like, there were times that I thought about giving up because it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
But that's the thing, it's like what I've said to other friends and other people as well, where it's like an instrument almost, because like it's playing other people's music. Yeah. But it's how you play other people's music. Yeah. Do you do a backspin every single mix, or like, you know, do you throw an effect in, a delay and this and that? Yeah, that's it. No. It's like, please don't do that. But a lot of DJs do that. Yeah. It's just how it is. Like, but it is that though, right? And it's you got to really take time out of your day to actually, like, if you're into it, learn it. You know, like. You know, I can reference myself a little bit, but you know, it's just like going out and about. All I do is I just open my laptop now and just play in a way.
Yeah.
I don't prepare. I don't do this. I don't do that. But it's also because I love my music that much that I listen to my music all the time. Just
yes, No, definitely.
And keep up to date.
The amount of people that have that whole unsure whether they should prepare or not. I find that a lot of the time I never prepare anything in terms of exactly how I'm going to mix it. I think I used to for some of my initial gigs, but I'm very glad that I didn't get into that habit, because I feel like there's none of the creativity that can be in a mix if you're there on the night, as well as it really gets away from the whole reading the crowd. Yeah. Because even though when you get more into the underground scene in Perth, like there's a lot less of reading the crowd and more being your own individual artist and doing what you want to, but I still feel like you need to have some kind of spontaneity.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So, but that's the biggest thing as well. Is like I remember going way back in the day to Capitol and going on stage, and there's like, I can't remember who the DJ was, but he's like, "I've run out of music," and I'm like, "What do you mean you've run out of music? I've only brought 32 songs with me." And I'm sitting here like, "Okay, I'll go get the other guy, like the guy who's on after he, like you shouldn't be running out of music." But it's one of those things where he didn't expect to actually chop and change too quickly, and then actually full on like run out of tunes. But there's the spontaneity, I'm having trouble saying it. Being spontaneous, being spontaneous with your mix and playing this and playing that, that's like it's 100% with what you just said as well, because it's like you don't know what to expect, you know, like what happens if the power goes out, or you know something happens, or this or that, and then your mix is just like, it's, you know, a split second where okay, you got to change things up, get back into the groove of things. 100%. Like people, you know, some people don't expect that, and they don't.
And if you don't expect it to happen, you're not going to be able to be prepared for it to happen as well. Like there's been so many times when I've had problems with USBs, problems with gear, and you just, if you freak out, not going to help. You literally just have to go through the process of what you're going to do to fix it. So I think it's just part of like the whole, if you're so prepared and you just think everything's going to go perfect because you prepared it, it's not. So like, why be in that mindset almost?
That's
like,
it,
it's just not worth it.
I was going to ask as well, so how many gigs have you played over the last 3.5 years? Because you've been out and about quite a bit, right? Okay. that's
I think I do have a record, but I'd have to like go through my Excel spreadsheets.
Or invoices. And
literally, it would have been all my invoices. So I'm definitely at over 100.
No, that's good. Yeah, I thought you'd definitely be over 100 or 150.
Yeah,
or something.
I'm sure that I'm over 100 because I'm pretty sure I have 3 numerals in my invoices, and I think I'm up to 100. Something around there. That's as much as I can remember. But no, probably just over 100 or so. And like there were gigs when I first started as well that I was doing for free and I wouldn't have invoiced for, and then some of the ones that I would have done back to back for someone else and all of that kind of thing. So
well, that's the thing as well. It's like I've actually I've got a friend who works at Joe's Juice Joint. Yep. And she's just started there, right? But with just starting there, she's done a few gigs for free, and now she's doing it quite like under the you know, the how do you say it? The average wage for a DJ kind of thing. Okay. And so with that, I just told her, because she was kind of, from memory, she was a bit like, you know, this is shit. I'm not getting paid the right amount. I'm playing at this place. I'm trying to make my way through the industry and this and that. But the thing is, you just got to keep doing it, right? Like, keep doing it to an extent, to the point where you can prove your worth, and then that way you can actually go, well, no, pay me the right amount. And also, I've said to her as well, it's like, if you're playing at Joe's Juice Joint, that's pretty good on a DJ resume. Yeah. Because it's a decent place.
It's definitely difficult knowing your worth. It's something that took me a while. When I first started, there was a venue that was paying me $50 an hour, which is low. Yeah,
that's very low for a DJ.
Is low. But then again, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, when you first started.
And at that point, that wasn't completely out of nowhere. Like there was a lot of places paying that kind of money. It was definitely low, but it wasn't unheard of in a way. Compared to now, that's definitely but I've definitely tried to set like what I think I'm worth, but it is very difficult when you're starting out, because if you don't have anything to prove yourself with, then it's kind of like, yeah, I'm expensive, and people are like, why? They're gonna question it. Yeah. So
they'll be like, how many social media followers do you have? What's your page? And like, have you ever had that before as well?
No, I haven't.
Because for me, it's like I've had that in the past maybe twice. But they've said like, can you send me your DJ page? I'm like, don't have one. Oh, okay. All right, we'll put you on the back burner then.
Okay, that's
But
interesting.
I lost my DJ page, so then I couldn't really.
Lost it.
It's a little bit of a story, just quickly. So I had a bunch of live streams before the COVID kind of thing happened.
Okay.
This is like the year before COVID happened.
Yep.
I had some mates over. One of them played Drake on my DJ page. I didn't think anything of it.
Yep.
Sony and Universal got upset, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that I actually had the biggest shopping center in Canada. They had a store in that shopping center called Square One, and I used their logo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big
so,
no.
yeah. So they found out that logo didn't belong to me. I'm like, yeah, get rid of the page.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. It's a big copyright infringement. So
Yeah.
that's what happened to me.
Yeah. Well, that even like my DJ name itself is Lala, and it's too similar to somewhere in Spain or something. So that's why I have to have it as Lala DJ.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did the name Lala actually come from as well?
Well, I can thank my family for it, because when I was a kid, my brother couldn't say Taylor, so he would call me Lala. And so then when I was trying to figure out what it would be, I was just like, I'm not going to just be Taylor. Like, there's a million Taylors out there. That's not original. And my last name is way too long that I didn't want the whole thing there. But then my mum was like, why don't you go Lala? It's musical, it's related to your name. And
it's a good name.
I've stuck with it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one sometimes, because I feel like it sometimes doesn't fit into the genres I play, but at the same time it's ambiguous enough that it doesn't feel like I'm meant to be somewhere.
It, like, because you can go into, like, with a name like that, it's not like, you know, just like one of those names that's missing vowels or this or that. It's actually like, you know, it can be anything.
Yeah, it's just like, especially in drum and bass community, they have very, I would say, not aggressive, but like they're very robotic, kind of more intense names. It's just, and then I'm like Lala, so it just sounds so nice.
But that's what I mean, though. It's like, it's like a weird thing going around for the last, like, ever since like dubstep kind of made a resurgence in a way. And like I said, they just take the vowels and the like the, what's the other one for it? Is it consonants? yeah, I think it's consonants.
It's consonants.
By the way, guys, I just woke up, all right? So I got to go to Bustleton after this. So I've been sleeping all day. So yeah. So where else have you played? What else have you been doing? You mean, you said you played at Seasons and you've been...
Yeah.
I mean...
I haven't done really any of those in quite a while.
Yeah, Seasons hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, that's true. But predominantly sticking with drum and bass, house, lots of UK stuff as well. Actually, I got to play my first like breaks techno set recently, which was really fun.
Whereabouts was that? That sounds right.
That was for Energize.
Energize?
So, just like, electronic dance, harder dance with predominantly techno.
What venue was that at?
It was a warehouse.
Okay.
So
that would have been fun then. Heaps of people as well and everything.
Yeah, no, it was really good. There were actually like 3 events on in this warehouse at the same night, and one thing that was really nice is they let everyone wander between them.
So you just buy a ticket just to
to one of them, and then you could go to all 3.
That's really good.
So that was really cool. The only problem was that sound wise, a little bit of bleed between, and because the Energize stage was in the smallest part of the warehouse. And it was right next to what was meant to be the, was it like, what's the word I'm after?
We're all
ambient.
forgetting words.
It was meant to be ambient.
Okay.
And so they made us play really, really quietly. And so you get halfway and it was like good. And then you get to the back, if you were in the back of the warehouse room, it was just all you could hear with people.
Really?
Yeah, so that was really frustrating.
I mean, I guess that kind of would have been alright as well, because then you can still chill at the back, enjoy the music kind of, and chat to your mates.
The thing is, like, if you wanted to chill, you could go out into...
That's very true, yeah.
So it wasn't like did that chill space, but it just, the venue just wasn't suited to have that much going on. I think it would have been better if it would have been 2 events versus the 3.
Yeah.
But it was still cool. It just, they were very much, we're not turning it up, and we're like, needs to be louder, and they're like, no. So
that sounds like pushing shit uphill almost, because it's like, I mean, if you're playing dance music, it's got to be loud, like it's part of the thing for it in a way.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with techno and some of the harder dance, like it feels weird if you can't feel it vibrating. You almost like if it's so quiet that it's not making your body shake.
I get you with that.
Feel right almost, but,
well, that's exactly it. Like, you know, some music some genres you need to have it thumping, otherwise it just doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah,
like,
I still will always advocate for earplugs because I wear them constantly. So even though it's loud and I can feel my body moving, I still like need my ears to not be moving the same. I don't know.
That's a good thing to have. I mean, for me, like, I've got hearing damage. I know I've got hearing damage, unfortunately, but it is also my own fault. So I can't, you know, it's taking care of your hearing before it happens is worth it instead of ending up like me when it's like, okay, like, I
don't even know how people go out anymore because I've been wearing earplugs pretty much as soon as I started DJing. So I've been wearing earplugs for maybe like 1.5 years now. Like, it's just automatic for me, and I don't remember the last time I went out without earplugs. And I think if I didn't have them, I would have asked the bar if they had any foam ones, or then there have been times I put toilet paper in my ears.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Okay. It's that loud. So I went to Sub Club in Melbourne and very loud. Very loud.
And you actually stuck toilet paper?
Yeah, I did. I was desperate.
But like, did it have it hanging out a little bit?
No, really big tufts sticking out of my ears.
Just like wrapping around your ears?
No, just a little bit, like just pushed it into my ears. It was just so loud, and I had forgotten them, and I just knew that I needed to do it because otherwise it would have just been so much worse. But no, it didn't have it like full on sticking out of my ears. That's not like what I'm recommending. No, I'm just advocating for earplugs. They're not expensive.
If anyone's listening right now, like,
even put the foam ones in. Like, please,
save your hearing.
Please, it's irreversible damage.
So what equipment did you learn on as well? What equipment did you start off with?
I actually started on like CDJ 850s.
850s. So they were the little white dotted. They were the similar ones we had at the Scotto, right?
Yeah. No, they're really hard to learn on.
100%.
But it means that I've always known how to beat match. And especially with the technology now, there's a lot of people that can't beat match. They rely on visuals so much. Yeah,
it's like me a little bit.
So I have a really fun game of whenever I go to someone's house and we're just playing on the gear, I like to like cover.
Oh, really?
Cover it and see if they can like do it or not. But
and what's the turnout usually? They can't usually, or
a lot of the time it's positive.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's not positive. But
because those things, that look at them, they're so classic, honestly. Like, go all the way at the top. See that?
Oh, I swear. Oh, maybe which one's that? 850. Maybe can you get the 900s up? Because now I'm like thinking, I definitely did play on those, but I think I played on I played on 900s heaps.
So they do have like little waveform then?
That one does, but I've played on ones where it's just a red dot.
A red dot? Okay.
Yeah, like it's just a line. Like there's no waveform whatsoever.
Oh, no. So with those though, so what happens is if you just stick a thumb drive into them, then they will be like that. But sometimes you have to let the song play out, the whole thing, and then the white dot EQ you, because like they'll actually analyze it as you go.
No, there's one that doesn't even have that. It's literally just like,
oh, like that. One. Okay.
That beauty, you just get a red line.
Wait, zoom in.
That's it.
Wow.
That's all you get. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that does take skill then. Yeah, you don't even get the white dots.
I've played on ones where I think it might be the 900s. You can't sort by BPM.
Oh really?
Nah.
Okay. Does it show the BPM though as well?
Yeah, but you have to click on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a little bit tricky. It's not easy. But you learn a lot.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing I learned on.
What type of music were you playing back then as well? Just what's that look for?
It's we don't talk about it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
When I first started learning, it's always good to learn first with house and then playing some more party music, so then like you can get used to playing in front of people. But then I had a really big thing for like chill trap.
Chill trap.
Yeah.
Like liquid kind of trap in a way. And...
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was, and then like some future bass as well as some dubstep as well. But I still have some of that stuff on my USB, and I legit have not touched it in almost 3 years as well because I just don't play it. Like
really,
the closest I get to all of that now is predominantly bassline and Jersey. So
Jersey?
Yeah.
What's Jersey?
You don't know what Jersey
No,
is?
I don't know what Jersey is.
How do I
don't
even
look at me like
describe
that.
It's like
Damo, help me out here.
it's like the booty popping version of trap.
The booty popping
Version of trap. I don't know.
What? Jersey Club.
Yeah.
What?
Baltimore
Hybrid
house and hip hop. That make 130, 140.
So it's kind of like twerking trap.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think I know what twerking trap is. I've never heard of Jersey.
It actually has a little bit of a resurgence in the like hard dance and techno. A lot of people will actually play Jersey in there.
To go back down, did it say from the song My Boo? No, okay, yeah, and that's TLC, isn't it? No, Ghost Town DJs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know that song though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But no, it's interesting. It's really fun. I had a friend when I was part of EMAS, and he was obsessed with it, and I was always like, why do you like this so much? It's so weird.
What's going on?
Like, why? And then I like recently I heard it played out more, and I was just like, why is this coming back? But then I was like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. So no, it's fun. It's actually very fun.
Well, it's like that with some music genres and stuff like that. It's like they have waves in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like with Perth now, like house and techno have made it like a really big, like it's not even resurgence. It's just like a really big impact here now.
Yes.
And it used to be just drum and bass and like more heavy and harder kind of stuff and trap and everything like that. But now it's all house music.
Yeah.
And it's good. But
it's all thanks to losing it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like
100%.
that song just made tech house so much more accessible, and then when people were like, we don't want to always listen to tech house, then like regular house came back in, and especially disco, people were just very, very into that, and it's made a huge impact. And I think it's good because I think it's normalized a lot of other electronic music, especially when it comes to like UK garage and UK house and stuff like that, which wouldn't necessarily have been heard at all.
Yeah.
Like, people now actually hear it.
Well, that's it exactly. Like, because that's like what I said before. It's like we used to be a bit more harder, more classic dubstep, and like more, you know, drum and bassy, and like just like heavier kind of bass music. Like you remember RL Grime and all the others that were like huge back. I mean, who doesn't remember? But I just mean like, you know, everyone used to go after core and all sorts of stuff, but now it's all just changed, and now it's like.
People still go after core.
Yeah, they
Let's
do.
Be honest. Everyone still goes after core.
Okay. All right. But that's it, though. It's one of those things where it's like, it's the way music progresses. And see, I was talking to a good mate of mine about this the other day, where music's getting forgotten and new music's being made. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a rubber band or like a hair lacquey. But the thing is, it's like, it makes its circle, and then some of its history gets lost, I guess you could say. Like on the back of my car, I've got a David Bowie sticker, for example. And the thing is, like, David Bowie passed away. Yeah. But in 15, 20 years, will people still remember who David Bowie is? I mean, I hope so.
I think they will.
But not as much as they used to, I would say. Because it's like, it's still like, you know, oh, he was a classic.
It's generational as well, because as the people that grew up with that music, as they get older, then less people know about it. Because especially when it comes to genres that you're not born, like, eras that you're not born into, a lot of the time you get that from your parents or your grandparents. Someone else feeds you that music.
It's influences.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of that music will slowly not have the same appreciation.
Exactly. And it's so unfortunate because it's classics. But then it's just, you know, it's the way it works. Damo, can you look up Paul McCartney Kanye tweet? It's really, really funny, actually. Have you ever seen that before?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Like, everyone was just like, who's this Paul McCartney fella?
Oh, God.
Like, like, Kanye's going to blow up his career. It's like, wait a minute. What?
Bruh.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's even sometimes I'll play, like...
Here we go. Wait, can you zoom in on the photo? It's pretty bad. This is why I love Kanye, for shining light on unknown artists. He's about to blow up thanks to Kanye.
Oh my
That's what I
goodness.
mean, but it's Paul McCartney, right? And it's generational.
It's such a joke, honestly.
Yeah.
I even like I'll play a classic house song and then I look out to the crowd and I can see like 2 people that know it and I'm like, this song is huge. Like,
Yep.
how does no one know this? Like, it just seems so weird to me that like I'm playing songs to what are these like 18-year-olds and they're just standing there being like,
That's it.
no idea.
And
what
all
the
they
song
want is TikTok music these days. Do you have any TikTok tracks or anything like that?
Sometimes I don't even know it's a TikTok track
Same
until I look
thing.
out and they're doing TikTok dances and I'm like, oh god,
Yeah,
never
it's like,
again.
why did I do this?
We're done.
I just started this whole... I wish it didn't have it in my set.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Well, I haven't had to play. I haven't played
On purpose, though.
like those songs in a while anyway. I've been predominantly playing UK house,
Yeah.
drum and bass, and
And
everything.
so what actually are some of the events you've been playing for? Because you've done... Have you played for Sub Era as well? You have
No,
that? No,
I
you haven't.
haven't.
Okay, I'll message those guys. I'll be like, get her involved.
Literally I've spoken to them so many times,
Mm.
and they're just like, "Oh yeah," straight over their head. But
Well,
it's
they're-
okay.
they're busy
so
guys.
busy.
That's
so
it, yeah.
that's why I completely get it, because I have so many friends that do run events, and it's insane to try and keep up with everything that's going on.
That's
like
it.
it's so difficult.
Well, like even Harley and Emily, like,
yes,
like
they're so busy.
they're always
So
go,
busy.
go. And then
Yeah.
if they're not working on events, you know, they're
Yep.
working their day job kind of thing at store
Exactly.
DJ, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
consistent music with
Yeah,
them.
because I've done Motive for
Yeah.
them and everything.
And
So-
how was Motive though? Because their events look amazing.
Yeah, so I played pretty early on when they did some of the rooftop stuff,
Okay.
and it was so nice. It
Mm.
was just like,
That's at Retro Bar, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was. It was so good. Like, it was just in general a really vibe, and like everyone, the music evolved so much during the day as
Mm.
well, and it was such a good combination and of different genres. Like, it was really interesting and cool, because even though I love the drum and bass community, sometimes they can be very like, this is our genre, this is all we do.
Really?
A little bit.
Well, it does make sense though. Like if you have like
They're just very dedicated, that's
Yeah.
all. So like, I'll explain, you know, some other artist or like something, and they'll be like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, okay.
this drum and bass artist you don't know? That's a drum and
Yeah.
bass event? Wow.
Yeah, so-
okay.
But no, I love them for it though,
Mm.
because you know that they're gonna appreciate what you do, so that's really nice. But in terms of events that I've done, Energize is probably one of the most recent ones. Otherwise, I played one of my first Inhibit events, which was great. So it was for Benny L and Inja were the
Okay.
2 headliners.
How was that? Because that would have been a lot of fun. Like
yeah,
Inhibit
no,
events go
It
off.
was
like,
at the court as well.
so
So that
when
was
the
really
day
awesome.
parties or
Yeah, a lot of the time they do start earlier in the day just with the court. That's just how they work usually.
yeah.
But I've done lots of stuff with Protocode. They're great, such dedicated guys. Like, it's really
I've heard of
nice,
Protocode, but I
yeah.
always thought that was just a DJ. That's an event.
no.
Okay.
All
All right, I need to do more research.
Yeah. There's a few people that run it, so because it's a record label.
Yeah.
But you're probably thinking of Dead Zodiac. So
Yeah.
he is one of the main people that is part of it. So
All
yeah.
right.
But yeah, separate
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
He's his
I'm
own
following
artist.
now.
Yeah. So he actually supported AMC the other week as well. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
also
impressive, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. AMC just it was just so good. He played a 3-hour set. 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a long set. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
another,
three,
it was,
yeah.
and he plays with 4 decks at least.
Okay.
He actually plays with 6, but there's no 6-deck mixers in the whole of Australia or New Zealand, so he had to play with 4. I literally couldn't get him the 6 channel. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Can you look that up, Damo?
It's huge.
6
It's
channel
massive.
DJM. It's Pioneer, right?
Yeah, it's Pioneer, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. I think Alien Heath might make one as well,
Yeah.
that's 6 channel. But like the Pioneer one, it's massive.
Okay.
It's a big boy.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
About $5 grand from Studio DJ, and it is this big.
From store Holy shit.
It's big, boy. It's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah, it's big.
Fuck. All right. I mean, if only like if people couldn't see the picture, that god damn, that's big. Yeah. So no, that's all right then. So so I was gonna ask as well. So like, what would you like? How did you progress into not being labeled as like an EMAS DJ? Like, what were some of like? How did you go about trying to branch out?
It's kind of just meeting people on your own terms.
Yeah.
So instead of like getting bookings through other people, as well as having connections that aren't associated with them as well. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to say anything bad about EMS at all. Like, I'm so grateful, but it's especially when you are your own person, you are your own artist. You want to be just known as you, as you really.
Yeah.
So it was just all about like doing more gigs, getting my own reputation, and just working from there really. So it took time. I think it wasn't until I wasn't part of EMAS that I really solidly had my own self. So it probably would have been after my first year of DJing. So it was only really in the last year and a half, 2 years that I've really been my own artist.
Yeah.
So as well as even just people hearing of you as well, having an idea who you are.
Well, it's social media presence and everything. It's all about
hard.
It is.
It's
You have to get your name out there somehow, but then it's like, you know, it's like what I've said to people in the past as well. It's like you can post a picture on the internet, like on Facebook, or you post like, you know, you have a DJ page, this and that, but then you really have to pay for promotion, or you have to just try and like be on top of your marketing, your management. It's a job in itself. Like a good
100%.
A good friend of ours, Anton, always said to me that, you know, if you're going to DJ, you have to be a graphic designer, a media manager, you have to be a DJ, you have to be an event promoter, you have to be everything under the one, you know, one thing.
100%.
And you got to be popular as well.
God,
I know, how bad is it?
Yeah. It just, there's so much that feeds into that as well, being a female as well. Like, I hate to say it, but if you look at the female DJs, are any of them unattractive? Or any of them not conventionally attractive?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not like I'm tooting my own horn and being like, I'm so hot. No, that's not it. It's more just like, it's really hard when you aren't conventionally attractive to get gigs as a woman, because a lot of the time you are just seen as something pretty.
And it's so bad, isn't it? Like, I have to say, like, because have you ever seen like videos where it's like over in Russia or in Europe or like Spain and stuff like that, and it's literally just like, it's a girl in a bikini, and it's like not even a bikini, it's like, you know, a G-string kind of thing.
Yeah. And
they're just playing there, but that's being an object in a way, and it's really sad to say.
There's so much pressure to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And to look your best.
And
100%.
And that's the thing, you should just be able to go, okay, I'm just going to throw trackies on, just put a leather jacket on, it's ripped a bit, but let's go have a good night. Because that's the thing, is like guys can just rock up and just do whatever. As long as, like, I guess guys kind of have to have some, well, it's not even some sort of look, it's just like a little bit of professionalism, I guess, but they can still look rowdy and like, you know, ripped up and shit. And then, but you're right.
Another thing that gets even worse is that the nicer you look, sometimes the worse you get treated as well, because people just see you as something like an object as well. They're like, oh, you're here for my entertainment, and I'm like, to an extent. To an extent. I am here to play music. I am not here for you to chat up. That is not my job.
I'm here to have fun myself, not just be passed around.
Yeah, so then...
Because that's what I was going to say as well. When I interviewed Ali, like Ali Val, she said basically the same thing as well, where it's like, you know, being treated as the token female DJ. You're the only girl on the lineup, but it's like, they just have to have
And then we have to be the earliest set as well.
Yeah.
We have to be the opening set.
And that's so bad, right? But it's so good that you've got people like, you know, Harley and Emily that are pushing for things like that. Like, pushing for equality and everything being just for the music and for the fun.
Yeah, and that's why it can be really tough when people want to make sure that they're being inclusive and including people of all genders and all ethnicities and backgrounds. But if you are booking people for that, for how good they are, then sometimes you end up with a non-diverse lineup. And that's one thing that can be very tricky as well, is trying to get the right amount of inclusivity, but then also not booking just to fill quotas.
That's it, yeah.
So it's tough.
It is, and that's the thing as well, is Perth is so small. We do have talent, we do have people that are skillful, but we don't have, you know, it's not like we have a population of 10 million, 20 million. We've got a population of 3.9? 2.5, okay, yeah.
A little bit over.
Yeah, it's a little bit over.
Yeah.
But that's it, 2.5 million. It's like for kids our age, between, you know, 18 and 33 that usually like to go to pubs, clubs and bars and DJ and stuff like that. There's not that many of us, unfortunately, but...
Yeah, so I think it's tough. And one thing that I like to express with the whole, you know, token female kind of idea is that I've had people be like, oh, isn't that good though, because then you get
more work, yeah, because
they're like, oh, we need a female. And I'm like, yes and no, because a lot of the time we'll get the opportunity, but then we have to really prove ourselves. And a lot of the time, I've had so many times I've literally played the opening set because that's all they've given me. Person that gets on next, atrocious.
Really?
I'm a way better DJ than them in every facet. And I'm literally the token. And if I ever get a set again, also going to be another freaking opening set. Like, it's ridiculous. And the amount of people that just don't respect you as a DJ, it's atrocious.
But how would you go about, like, proving your worth almost as well? Because, like, you know, if it's a repeat gig and you go play again, then it's like they should have heard your opening set kind of thing, right?
Sometimes they're not even there.
Yeah, that's so bad. They should be. If they're the event manager, the promoter, or whatever, you should see every single DJ set. Because what happens if, as you said, what happens if you put someone on like after you, and it's like you just like, this has happened to me in the past so many times. So it's like, you know, you get a crowd, people are dancing, people are having a good time. Someone jumps on after, and then they'll play Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas.
In July.
yeah, in July, exactly. Yeah. No, that was actually in January when that happened.
Okay, that's just as bad in my opinion. The only month you're allowed to do that is December.
That's it, close to Christmas. That's it. But that's what I mean though. It's like I built this crowd up, everyone was having a good time, and then see you later, and everyone just left. And was that similar what happened with your gig as well? Like,
yeah, it has been times where people are like are really enjoying themselves and the next person gets on and everyone like looks around for a bit and then like, walks off.
That's it. They're just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. And it's another unfortunate thing as well. Sometimes they'll wreck the first mix and then they think it's me and I'm like, hands up, like it's not me, and I try like space myself away from it almost. So
that's the perks of having a laptop and stuff, because usually like as soon as like, okay, I'm done, laptop closed. Pick it up. So everyone sees like, okay, well,
they're not playing.
Yeah, he's done. Because I once again, I've had, as I said, I've had that kind of stuff happen in the past. Like, nope, not me. Yeah. But it's part of the industry though as well, because you have to be a team player. You have to work together. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's all about positivity and bringing everyone up. But then, you know, sometimes if
support your friends.
That's it. Support your friends 100%.
Support your friends, because if you support your friends, they'll support you, and then we just all lift each other up rather than it being a competition. And that's one thing that I don't know if there's just some DJs in Perth that I don't know if I will really ever respect them because of the way that they've just gone around things.
Yeah,
because they're just like, I'm better. And that is their whole mentality, is that they're like, I'm better, I've got more social media presence, I'm more popular, so you should book me. Yeah. Rather than it being, oh, this person's great, but I have something that's different. Or like, this person's great, I think I could also do something with them to make it more interesting. Or like, even just, I don't know, promoting your friends. Like
that's exactly it. And that's 100% it as well. And that's where it's so bad almost, because then like people get their own, you know, this has happened in the past as well, where it's like a good friend of mine, you know him as well, we've booked people for an event at certain venues, right? But it's only because like if you put that name there with supports like that, people will go to that event. Because it's the social media presence. But then it's like the way they've gone about that, and it's like being in the past when they've been snarky or they've been narcissistic or whatever the situation is like, you shouldn't be in the position you're in, like, you know, because like it should just be like, you should be humble, you should be nice, you should go out, you should just play music. and make people dance and smile and enjoy your set and have a good time. This is what I say always on the podcast. Like, Genga was one of the best guests I've ever had on here, and I haven't messaged him this yet. I've said this like 7 or 8 times. I need to message him and be like, "You're my favorite guest," but he basically said, "Where it's like, no, don't be like that." Well, after this, then you'll go up and you'll be up there. You'll be in the top 3, right? But like, Genga literally said, where it's like, you might have a bad week, you might have something happen to you, your car might get broken into, stuff might get stolen, who knows what happens. But when you go to work, you gotta put a smile on. You gotta just be friendly. You gotta be nice. You just gotta have a good time. Because like, if you go there and then someone does, like a customer does something, or like comes up to you and requests a song and you tell them to fuck off, kind of thing, then they'll go away and be like, "Oh, the DJ just told me to F off. Like, we should go." Like, the thing is like, just like what we're saying, you gotta be humble, you gotta be nice, you gotta support everyone. You can't be, a bad-nosed bear kind of thing.
It definitely depends on where you're playing, but like, there is still always like an essence of customer service. There really is.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, pretty much every single job that you have, there will be some kind of customer service.
And duty of care and everything.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating sometimes when people just also don't respect you as well. They just see you as another staff, like not even another staff, but just like that you're completely there for them.
Yeah, in the background kind of thing.
I don't know, it gets very frustrating.
But that's the thing. It's like, that's where it can kind of like, I was actually talking to a bunch of friends at Market Grounds the other week about this. Met them on that night, but just a bunch of cool girls, right? But the thing is like, the whole idea of an ego. It's like, the girl I was chatting to, she told me she was dating this guy for like 4 or 5 years, and he was the perfect teddy bear, everything was great, but then he started becoming a DJ, and he went from being chubby and like not feeling good about himself to working out, getting really ripped, going off and DJing, inviting like 50 people, 70 people, 100 people to his events and stuff like that. And then his ego and everything else just swapped, and he just didn't really realize. And then like, when he did realize, his girlfriend of 4 or 5 years left him, because she just said like she couldn't handle it anymore. But he got wrapped up in the music, in the hospitality, in the entertainment industry, to the point where he literally just thought he was on top of the world. But he was just one of us, he wasn't a bad DJ, but it's just when he go up on stage, or when he get ready for a gig, he just, look at me, I'm better than everyone else. And it's like, you shouldn't let that happen to you ever.
Yeah. It's even the whole thing that some people, when they become a DJ, they don't go out anymore. And they don't go support other people, and then they don't go and actually involve themselves in music, because so much of DJing and the music industry is about listening to other people and seeing what's happening around.
That's it.
Because I feel like I learned so much by going to events and hearing other people play, and just all the different stuff that they do, and being involved in the community, and finding out what people want and what kind of culture that, it's just, I feel like you miss out on so much if you get so involved in that way. And like, I go to events all the time, and even if I play, I will literally go enjoy the event and go in the crowd, and the people that don't, they're missing out. They're really missing out, because there's so much to be part of an event and not just to be playing it. So
and so that's what sucks as well, because it's like for me, I want to attend events, I want to do this and do that, but I'm always working, so I can't really go to them. But for example, is like that warehouse rave that's now been postponed. I was supposed to do a shout out at the beginning of this, but I forgot to. And Taylor's playing at our event as well, by the way, for Fresh Kicks. Eventually. But what I was going to say is, I was going to take work off for that night. Because the thing is, like, that will be an experience and a half. And if I'm not there for it, even though I'm kind of helping just by doing promotion through this, it's still just like, I've got all my mates there. I've got friends being there, like yourself, that just want to go and hang out and have a beer and catch up kind of thing. And if I didn't actually attend it, I just feel like left out almost. And that's how honestly, that's how I feel a lot of the time sometimes. Because I'll go off and play in Scarborough till midnight, 6 o'clock to midnight. But then it's like, okay, I could go into the city from like 1 to 3 a.m. I'm tired.
No, I understand. I'm not trying to say that it's bad if you can't, but it's more just like, if you have the ability to, and
it's worth doing.
It's just worth doing. Exactly. So for someone like me that isn't playing commercial every single week, because I play only every few weeks because I don't play them.
Yeah, you don't want to play Dancing Queen.
Not really.
Yeah, that's
I've kind of past that point. But I'm very lucky that I have the opportunity to go out and listen to my friends, to go to events that really interest me, and to see all these different artists and
just network.
Yeah, if that's my point, even if you don't take it as a networking opportunity, that's the thing. Is another thing when you first start is sometimes people are just so focused on networking, and sometimes the best thing to do is to just go and enjoy the event.
That's it. Yeah. That's
and then
exactly
figure it out after, rather than being like, I need to meet this person and this person. I gotta make
there
sure
he
I
is.
talk to them. Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's a that can be a bit much, because then where's your passion? It's almost just like business. You're there for business. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah, but that's it. Once again, though, like a lot of people do treat it like that sometimes, and a lot of people, you know. It's just the industry in itself, almost.
Why are you getting into it in the first place?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Are you here for the music, or are you here for the attention? Are you here for the popularity, or what are you here? Or are you here for the money?
It should never be about the popularity.
No, that's my point. Is that I think you do still need to be doing it for the right reasons.
That's exactly it. Yeah, but even that's what, like I was saying before, people just get lost in the whole idea of it. Because they go out and then it's like, oh, my friends here, are they there? Like this here, you know, like why isn't everyone dancing? Why isn't this happening? And like that, you get, you know, it's one of those things when you go on stage and there's like barely anyone there, and then it's like, do you ever get anxiety sometimes playing on stage and stuff like that? Yeah, it's a similar thing. Like not so much anymore, because I just say I'm just gonna go up and have fun.
Yeah.
But it's getting over that hurdle, because I've talked to so many different DJs where it's like, you know, they've gone up and they're like freaking out almost, because it's like, how do I keep this vibe going? How do I keep, you know, how do I keep the party going? How do I actually start the party? This and that. Yeah. But it's if you go up there and have fun, this is also referring back to Genga. If you go up and have fun, and everyone's going to have fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of your set, if someone says like, oh, you did a really good set, just say like, oh, thank you. Like, it's the best thing you can do. Yeah. Don't be like, oh, I did a shit set.
This is just giving me flashbacks right now.
No, I did the exact same thing.
I've been pretty good recently in terms of like all of the sets I've played. I've been like very grateful for, and even if I haven't had many people, because I have done a few more opening sets recently just because of the way it's worked out in terms of the kind of music I was playing. Yeah. But I did support for Enshui for Highline.
Oh wow.
And it was an amazing experience, but like I was freaking out.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was the first time I'd ever played support for an artist where I was on right before them, and so it's just so nerve-wracking when they walk on stage and
you're like, oh my god, it's
Enshui. And then like I look to the side and just What's just sitting there watching, and I'm like, this is not okay. I'm freaking out. So that was really scary, but like I got over it, and I was, for a while I was like, I did terrible, I'm so mad at myself, but then like people were like, no, you did well. Like even the bookers were all like, no, you did well. Like we'd be happy to book you again. And I was just like, why am I freaking out so much? You just get in your head about it so much.
That's exactly
when
it.
There are either international or even just
someone in, you know, VIP kind of thing.
Yeah, anyone that has more followers than me, and I'm like, oh
my god, I got 500 more followers. Oh my god. But see, like that's exactly how I can imagine. I haven't talked to Jay yet, but Jay Dream, she played before Colcox.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that would have been so nerve-wracking. It was like, this guy's literally like a house god right here. And he's from Ibiza. Like, he's in Perth. Like, uh-oh, kind of thing. But I was going to say, 100% though, because if you go off stage and everyone's like, you did a good set, and you're like, then they think about it and they go, well, then the next set better be better.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because they expected, it's like, well, I thought that was a good set.
Yeah.
But then if she's saying that
that's a bad set for them, then what's the next one?
Exactly. And then you have to kind of like, if you don't up your game, then you can kind of lose followers almost. Well, not lose followers, but they don't know what to expect in a way.
100%.
And that's music industry. Yeah.
So you always have to stay very current in terms of just like what's happening.
Well, that's the beauty of going out and actually seeing other people's gigs and other sets and stuff like that. Like, because then you get to see what other people are playing. Like for me, I spend a lot of the time on Instagram stories just going, oh look, where did they play? What's going on? Like, oh, they're playing this song, they're playing that. Okay, maybe I should put that into my set.
Yeah.
Just because I don't get the chance to actually go out to clubs or bars or anything anymore. But
I like stealing what some effects and stuff people use. So like I'll watch them do it and then be like, remember this, remember this, like trying to get it in my head to like practice later and see if I can do it. So like AMC did this really cool like force like back scratch, so we just literally went like 4 times back, and I was like, I need to practice that sounded really cool.
So 1 2 3 4 just
yeah.
like, okay,
yeah,
right.
Exactly. So it's things like that where I'll listen to it, or even when people play certain combinations, I'm like, that's cool, I want to do that. So something that I've recently done and I keep doing and telling people about it because I get so excited is the song Deep Inside by Hard Drive. I play it at 174. So I play it at drum and bass speed.
And
so
what is the usual BPM?
125. It's a house song.
No shit. You sped it up by like 50 BPM.
Yes.
Wow.
It sounds awesome.
Okay.
So in one of my latest mixes, it was actually a recording of what I did for one of the Protocode sets that I played. And literally it's actually really cool. It's really fun.
Send it to me. That sounds really cool actually.
Yeah, it is.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, I think it's stuff like that that can be really interesting in terms of a lot of the time when you first learn to DJ, they're like, oh, maybe only plus or minus 5, like that kind of deal. But then when you get more familiar with it, it's listening to the music and being able to gauge how much you can push it almost and make it your own. So
it's the creativity behind it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was just going to go into. It's like, you know, it's just, you get your music and you practice and you just like, I've said this to a few people. I was going to teach a demo and I was going to teach a mate of mine who I used to go to TAFE with.
Yep.
And I was trying to say to them, it's like, just put all of your music, your favorite tracks on a thumb drive, put it in your car, and just leave it in there and just like listen to your music over and over and over again. And that way, when you actually go out and about, you familiarize yourself with it. Or when you go to practice DJing and stuff like that, that way you can go, oh, this song would work well with this one. And then you can just go from there. Like I found this the other day, actually. Like, I've never done this before, but can you please look up a Marcus Marr Rocket Ship? Have you ever heard of this? You probably haven't.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's a very, very groovy, like housey kind of track, right? Okay. It's kind of like claptony kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Blurred, no, don't play it though. Just pull it up if that's all right. And then Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke or whatever his name is. And those two just work on top of each other.
Yeah.
And like, I think they're in different keys, but they just work so well on top of each other that you can literally just turn Blurred Lines into this one big mashup of just like, just funky bass line kind of thing. But
keys are so important, and it is something that a lot of people don't even think about, but especially in drum and bass, it's so essential.
So in almost everything, I'd say, in almost every track.
Yeah, it's true, but there's a lot of people that don't even know it. So, and there are some,
I'm kind of one of them.
There are some genres or even subgenres where it doesn't matter as much, but I think it's something.
Rhythm.
Yeah, duh. But like that doesn't even matter if it's the same BPM. You play them at the same time.
That's
no one's even gonna notice.
Wah.
Yeah, that's the whole point of that music. Is that you're meant to be able to chop and change it like that. But yeah, it's so important with some things, but it's just even just listening to your tracks is like, when you play them, listening to the balance of the two tracks that you're playing, because a lot of people won't necessarily go touching a lot of the other, like the mids and the highs, or then it's so important to listen, because you get the most seamless blends when you listen to it properly. And I feel like that's one of the things that I pride myself on, is having very smooth and seamless blends, because I just really listen to the tracks that I'm playing.
Well, that's the thing as well, is there's so many DJs out there that literally just like, one song ends, they'll just kind of like build it up for 5 seconds or something and throw it in. Yeah. And it's like, you should, you know, like I said, you
just like chopping and changing from going verse, chorus of the next song, and like being able to listen and figure out whether you can keep playing the other song.
That's it.
It's something else as well. And like, because a lot of people just go from one song to the next, and then I almost encourage them to leave the song up and be like, listen to them. Do they still work? Could you keep it going? And they're like, oh yeah, it does sound good.
Would you ever get into teaching DJing?
Well, I have.
Oh, you have? Really?
So when I was part of EMAS, I did quite a lot of teaching.
Really? I had no idea. How was that? Like trying to teach students and stuff like that?
I don't find it an issue at all. I like pretty decent with it. Even with what I'm studying now, it's going to be a lot of teaching and everything, so it's something I'm very comfortable with. Like I obviously haven't done it in quite a while now. Like the extent of it is I helped housemate a bit when we first moved in together, helped teach her a little bit, and then have some other friends that if they DJ at a party or something, I'll give them some tips or like that kind of thing, but less teaching from scratch now. But,
so like with that, would they provide like a syllabus kind of thing to you to give to the students or anything like that, or because
kind of like a rough outline of the stuff that we want to start with, but it's definitely like up to you what you wanted to do, and I think that is a good way to go. And
really? So that really they kind of just open book canvas kind of thing. It's like, okay, like in a way, like, so, you know, student rocks up, show me what you know how to do, and then like I'll just
it's predominantly groups as well, the way we would teach it. So it kind of does need to be a little bit more fluid in the teaching because different groups are going to respond differently. It depends on how many people you've got, and sometimes when we did the girl DJs, which was female, non-binary, kind of, that's the inclusivity of that group, was just they were always really nervous. It was just so we kind of change the teaching style compared to if you're teaching to a larger group, or then even just like a different genders and stuff. It can make a huge difference. And whether people have had experience or not before. And
well, that's
people
exactly
are very arrogant, so you have to tell them to shut up and give other people a go.
Have you actually had to do that in the past?
Yeah, I have had to do that before.
Really? Just be like, shush, I'm trying to teach. Like,
yeah, this person literally just kept trying to go, and I was just like, you've had your turn, someone else's turn, move on. So
how did they take that? Were they kind of hurt by that, or
I feel like they just didn't expect me to like stand up for myself as much as I did, in terms of like, no, not your turn anymore, go away. Like,
well, that's the thing as well. It's like what we were saying before. It's like you got to stand up for yourself. Like in this industry, it's not so much like don't be a pushover, but then at the same time be lenient and just be understanding and just be like, you know, be humble, be nice, kind of thing. Because you know, like, well, I was gonna try and say some sort of like is it a phrase? I can't remember. Like
a quote, or
kind of a quote. You know, the thing where it's like, you know, with the rabbit and the snail. It's like not the rabbit and the snail. What is it?
Tortoise.
Tortoise. Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah, where the tortoise ends up winning, right?
Yes, slow and steady.
Yeah. That's As I said, I just woke up. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit hazy. All right. Yeah. Yep.
The life lessons, even I'm forgetting the actual specific name for what it's called. But
no, this is good though. Like, what? This is a good episode though, because if someone was getting into it and they didn't know how
I know what you're talking.
An Aesop.
Aesop?
An Aesop.
Like,
yeah,
Aesop,
a fable.
A fable.
Okay.
Aesop's Fables. Yeah, Aesop. Yeah, got it.
Okay.
That's the one.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's awesome. You've taught people then as well. Like that's really cool that you've actually done that.
Haven't in a while, and like, it's very funny. Some people are grateful for the like spirit, and they like acknowledge the fact that I helped them, and then there's some other people that have completely distanced themselves from me.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of strange. Some people
really
the way
completely.
That they take it.
But like you've taught them in the like polite, nice, friendly manner.
Yeah, like,
and then they've just gone...
generally we're friends with them and stuff. And
people
kind of, sometimes people make decisions where they see themselves in terms of music, or just general creative scenarios.
Creativity and stuff.
Yeah, in the creative industries, and some people almost don't like to reflect on where they were, and they want to just create themselves without acknowledging their background. And it's the same with like EMAS for me. Like, I will always acknowledge them, and that's like where I started. I'm so grateful. Whilst some people, they started with something and they'll be like, no, I don't speak about it, and I'm like, but this is where you came from.
Yeah,
like these people helped you. Like, no matter if you're still friends with them now or not, I don't think you should disregard the
100%
impact they've had. And it's the same with like gigs that I've had. Like, I might not necessarily have those gigs anymore, but I'm still going to always acknowledge them in terms of like, that was part of my path.
Yeah.
So,
well, like, okay, well, I 100% believe in what you're saying. I'm going to name drop somewhere, right? Because I shot myself in the foot so bad, and I'm so upset about it, right? I wouldn't stop whinging to Damo about it for like 3 weeks. So a group of friends, a group of my mates actually got me a gig at Frio Social.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to play there. And not the guy who made Selfie. What's that song called? Pretty sure you've been at Capitol before when he's been there. It will come back to me, but there was a guy from over east who actually makes Melbourne bounce and housey kind of stuff, and he came to Freo Social the night that I was playing. No, it wasn't Wafu. I can't remember his name. It's kind of like, you know, it's the one that's like how many beats per minute, how many drops, how many this, how many that. Yeah, what is that track?
You mean Odd Mob?
Yeah, Odd Mob. That's him. Odd Mob came to Freo Social, and I was so excited because I was playing outside in the courtyard, right?
Yep.
And so the thing is that I took it as humbly as I could, but I did the wrong thing, right? And I actually drank a bit too much, and so it wasn't bad, right? But it was one of those scenarios where it's like I rocked up and I was supposed to be playing in half an hour, but I did like a sound test, right? And there was a function in front of me. And when that function, what ended up happening was I played like a Rolling Stones song. All the oldies were like, keep playing, keep doing your thing. So I started, which kind of annoyed the bar manager, I'm pretty sure, just a little bit. I started a little bit early. Then she asked me, do you want a drink? And I said, what's the strongest thing you got? Right? And then I had a few people dancing with me as well in the DJ booth area, right? Which I didn't know I wasn't allowed to do. I was outside in a smoking section, right? And I asked if I could have a cigarette, and she's told me that's a little bit unprofessional. I said, okay, that's fine. I won't. I just wanted to ask though, right? And then I also let two songs not fully play out, but I let one more time play out, right? And then it kind of just dropped, but I instantly had something loaded up and just went straight into something else. But the thing is, like, since I went and played at this venue for the first time, it was a bit of a party boy, in a way. They were kind of like, that's not what we want. Never heard back from them. But I was so excited because I got told by the guy who booked me, who wasn't there on the night, that if you do well, it'll be every Friday. And I was like, oh my God, Freo Social, this would be the coolest thing ever. But I went over my head, got a little bit intoxicated, did the wrong thing. But of course I'm still going to say that. Like, I'd love that place. It's a very, very cool venue for what it is. And I am so happy I got the chance to play at that venue as well. Yeah. I mean, I might not play there ever again. I'd love to. But the thing is like, I'm humble and happy that they gave me an opportunity.
Yes.
And if I was just to say, nah, fuck those guys, that's not nice.
No, some people definitely have that mentality in terms of when they don't get booked again, they're like, oh, it's completely their fault. Like, why won't they book me? And sometimes they're just like not really on the ball in terms of like getting to book new people, or then they don't have the opportunity to, or it didn't suit them. Like, there's so much more going on to it, and like, you can't just take it personally either. That's it, yeah. You can't be like, yeah, and then
it just has to be it has to be a middle ground, basically. Yes, like I just said, it's like, I'm happy I got the opportunity. I'm glad I got I got to go. And if I didn't fit their niche or their market or whatever it is, there's other places.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is like, you can't just not shoot yourself in the foot, but just get upset and just go and hide away and be like, ooh, I can't DJ anymore. It's just like, all right. Whatever.
Or even just like say bad things about the event or anything like that as well, because that's not fair.
Exactly. And that's the thing as well, is like, we were looking into this a while ago, me and Damo were, but we were talking about it at TAFE like last semester, where it's like, every real article that goes out into the internet, it's like, if you go and upload something, I don't know, BBC says there's a plane crash, right? And only 10 people passed away or something, but then 50 articles pop up and it's like 150 people passed away. It's more the chances that people will believe the fake news in a way. It's like the Chinese whispers. And so if someone goes and plays at a club and say this happened or this happened, you know, they're gonna be like, oh no, that person told me it was shit, I don't want to go there. Yeah. And it's bad because it just damages our industry.
Yes, 100%. I think a lot of the time that kind of he said, she said, or hearsay is very negative. But I think there can also be power in it sometimes, just in terms of when bad things do happen. Yeah. Sometimes it helps things get done, because sometimes it's one person isn't able to make that difference on their own, and they need the support of others to be able to make a change, because there are still some very bad culture in the DJ industry. So especially, it is the whole like women thing again, but like there's some really bad culture still going on.
Can I mention what happened at Amplifier in the combi van? that age?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm happy to explain
Okay.
it. Like, this was
Yeah.
just like one of my first experiences of.
Because that was, I can't believe that. And when you messaged me and then I ran up and jumped on the side van, I was like, get the fuck out of the van.
Yeah,
like,
so that was probably one of my first experiences of just like being mistreated almost as a
Yeah.
DJ. And I just had this, I'll just say, this guy came in when I was DJing in the combi van and literally was very persistent in what he wanted, and I was like, no, go away.
yeah,
But,
climbed
like,
into the van.
Yeah, into the van without my consent and everything. And this van does not have much space. If
Yeah.
you've ever been in it, anyone that's
It's tiny.
seen
It's
it,
literally like this
it's
big.
tiny. Look, there's barely any space for
Yeah.
you to move, let alone have another
Yeah.
person in there. It's just not possible. But yeah, that was probably like one of my first experiences. I honestly had forgotten about that.
Yeah, well,
like,
I mean,
I honestly had forgotten about it. Like, to me, that's barely anything compared to some of the shit that I've experienced
but
now.
so that's
but,
what I mean as
yeah.
well. It's just this kind of stuff shouldn't happen in general. Because like when you, as I said, when you messaged me and I saw that going on and he put his hand on the decks and like just stopping music, I'm like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what's going on. You need to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And then for the guy to have that much arrogance and be that just so full of himself to come out and just like hold his hand out, like, you have no idea who I am, do you? I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, right? Like, well, that's one thing I kind of did and didn't want to dive into a little bit, but it's like what we were talking before about, you know, girls in the scene. It's like being treated like an object is not cool. Like, at all. But it happens though. Like, and that, like, when I interviewed Ali, she actually, she didn't call out the guy's name. She told me after, but she was telling me about like an event company that the guy was just an absolute seedy prick about everything.
I've had multiple like that as well.
Yeah, and it just shouldn't be on.
Yeah, there's times I've been booked where I'm pretty sure I've been booked because they want to get with me. Like, that is, I'm not being respected as a DJ.
That's so bad.
This is the culture that's still going on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of good people out there.
Yeah.
And I predominantly do have good experiences. It's just, unfortunately, these bad experiences still do ring true. And I just want people to be aware of it so that maybe people will make some kind of change, because,
well,
you know,
we're moving in
at
the
this
right
point,
direction though.
Oh, 100%. But
Right.
like, we shouldn't have to be like still being like, we need to move in the right direction. We should be here by now. We should
I
be here.
100% agree with
So,
that. Exactly.
yeah.
But that's it. It's like old mentality. Well, it's not even old mentality. It's just disgusting pigs being disgusting pigs, basically. Because that's like, I always mention them, and I wonder if they're watching. I don't know if they're watching, but hi, Nikki, if you're watching. But the Pachamama crew, what they stand for and what they're doing, have you heard of them
Yeah.
at all? Yeah, for what they're doing in the industry, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good. Having just spaces where girls can go and feel safe. Like,
Yeah, that is something that's very interesting though, is this whole whether they announce that it's all female or not. Sometimes I like it. Personally, I prefer to
Just
not be called a female DJ.
Yeah.
I prefer
Just to be a DJ.
Exactly. If I get booked, let's say it is an all female lineup, I prefer they don't announce it. That's just my preference, because I would rather just be seen as a DJ without a gender rather than this very like gendered thing.
Just like
it's
a
just
label
not
slapped on
necessary.
you.
It's just not necessary. I'm here to play good music. I'm not a girl playing good music. That's just
Exactly.
not the way it is. So.
Yeah, you're just, you're just going out to have fun and play tunes. That's it. Yeah.
That is what DJing is. Playing music.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
This is the whole point.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know, but disc jockey, that's what
Yeah,
DJ
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's what the role is. Yeah.
But it's so unfortunate though sometimes, because it's just labels. Labels get thrown around, and people get stamped with these labels, and then it's like, how do I get rid of this label? Yeah. Like, I don't know if I told you, but I actually might have told you at the Somnia Ball. But I booked this DJ, right? And I'd never heard of him before. Me and Damo actually went to his event. And then when I booked him and put the poster on Facebook, I had 3 different people message me like, why the fuck are you getting this guy on? Fuck this guy, this and that. He's labeled himself as just an absolute prick. Like, he does this and does that. And he films people and calls them out on Facebook and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. I just went to his events and just bumped into the guy and said hi and said, you want to come on my podcast? And that's it. And then we actually had him on, and his friends called him out during the actual interview. And then it was just like, dude, you've pissed off a lot of people. Like, what have you done? But then it's like, in a way where we kind of discussed it, it's like, he's gone about it in the wrong way. But if he's willing to change, then he can hopefully change. Some
people also like being polarizing, though.
Yeah.
They like having that impact in terms of being polarizing.
Yeah.
But I feel like
it's not the right thing to do, though. That's it. Because, like, it's not a popularity competition.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't.
But
it still is a bit.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, a little bit. Yes. And that's just because it's like, you know, bookers can go, okay, if we book this guy, he'll bring 70 people. And the club needs 70 people through the doors. And he might be arrogant and have an ego and do this and do that. And, you know, go up on stage and do a shoey or whatever the scenario is.
Can confirm has happened to me multiple times. So people
what, like, doing a shoey?
Can we come up and do a shoey? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had anyone do a shoey near me or anything.
So, well, I've played university balls and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a very interesting crowd.
Well, actually, here's a good question for you. So what else have you done other than pubs and bars and stuff and clubs? So you've done... like functions like university balls. Have you ever done weddings or anything?
Yeah,
like
I've
that?
done like one wedding.
Okay. How was that? Was that
not my thing?
Okay.
Not my thing.
Alright, that's fair.
I've done a few more like 21st and I've done a few 18ths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy them more just because I think
not as cringy kind of thing.
As well as they're more my age, so I have like more an idea what's going on compared to like a wedding. People a huge age range between like 30 and 70 and I'm like, I don't know how to please these people.
Play the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, it's not really in my repertoire. Yeah. So yeah, I do enjoy some of them. It's just there's others that I just really don't enjoy. And I did play a 21st more recently, and I actually very much enjoyed that. And because I hadn't done a private gig for such a long time, so that was actually good. Do
you take your own speakers and all the equipment as well out there, or do you hire it out?
So I did bring, because I own a DDJ 1000 controller, and some.
Can you look that up as well, Demo, if that's right, please?
It's a Pioneer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I brought that, but otherwise they had speakers from a friend, and I brought some other bits and pieces, but it's very much a discussion with them, with what they want, with what they have and everything like that. But I have had to provide a full setup before. Yeah. I don't enjoy it that much.
Yeah, lugging speakers and carrying things.
Oh, that's not really the problem. It's just like I get so nervous with people around my gear, especially. Yeah. Like I was playing at this venue at one point where I did have to bring my own equipment just because their other equipment was getting serviced, and so I ended up getting like public liability insurance and everything on it because I was just so worried that someone would spill their drink all over my gear, and then goodbye to like $2,000 because that's how much my decks are worth.
You should have seen it. How's this? New Year's last year I played at Kalamunda Hotel, right? And I actually had, because there's just so many 18-year-olds there, it was baffling, right?
Yeah.
But I got a dance floor going, and then I can't remember, I think I played Salmon Dance or something like that.
This is my boy.
Yeah, that's your boy?
Yeah.
It's a very pretty boy.
Has some I don't know. It's just really good. It's four channels.
It's just really good. And you need a laptop for it as well, right?
You do. I think that's the biggest downfall in some people's eyes is the fact that it needs a laptop. But
it's still
the jog wheels are adjustable, which is one of my favorite bits about it because I like them heavy.
Really?
Like them really heavy.
So you don't.
I do, but I have to do the whole hold it down and spin it back because it's too heavy for me to just flick it.
Okay.
But yeah, I learned to adapt because I'm so anal about how like in time it is because I know how to beat measurably. I'm just there the whole time like touching it the tiniest little bit so that it's like perfect. So that's why I have it so heavy because I constantly adjust.
That's pretty good. That's awesome then. I'll just quickly, I was going to say is like what happened at Kalamunda Hotel, a kid ended up throwing a beer bottle and it actually tipped, like it went over my, it spiraled, just like it tipped the top of my PA speaker and I was just freaking out after that, like, oh, okay, this is Kalamunda. I've never played a gig like this before. It's a rowdy like this. As soon as it happened, I got security over and I was like, no. This is,
Well, that's lucky. I've had some terrible experiences with security. I mainly just have terrible security. I don't think I've really ever had a time where I've been like really happy with security.
Well, what's happened? What do you mean?
They just don't do their job.
Really? No. They're just lazy and just don't care.
It's been so many times when I've like been making eye contact with security for ages, being like, it's all these people that need to go, or then like all these people that are bothering me, and they're just
No shit. And you've tried to get them over, like waved them over and be like, over here?
Oh yeah.
Wow, okay. For me, I just call out and be like, you over here now. Like, I'm very assertive.
I try.
Fuck, okay.
I don't know why. I just, for some reason, I get ignored a lot.
No, don't say that. Yeah. You don't get ignored. No.
I do get ignored by security. So they just don't pay attention.
That's so bad.
But like, one good thing is that I'm very assertive with people. Like, I do have lots of people like, can I come up on stage and all of that. I'm always like, no.
Yeah, it's straight up just like, no,
just
sorry.
No.
Yeah.
It's just easier for me to always say no.
Well, I always just say things like, I'm getting paid to be here. I'm sorry, but like, I got to do my job. Like, you can't play a song. You can't get up on stage with me. Like, leave me alone. Let me do my thing in the way.
But yeah, I know some other people that like feel bad telling people no, and so then they end up with all these people behind them, and then like something goes wrong, and you're like, well, see, if only security could help, but then they're just off in fairyland.
I've had something similar like that happen at Peach Pit before, where it's just like a bunch of kids all dressed up in suits and like white shirts and stuff, and then one kid just kept requesting a song, said no, and he got all his mates to come up, and I said, well, what are you gonna do? And
it's my friend's birthday.
That's
Can you
it.
Please play this song.
Yeah, it's a nightmare sometimes.
Especially, there's just some gigs when I'm literally booked to play in a corner and just play like disco for like 3 hours, like chill vibes, and someone's just like asked me to play something ridiculous, and I'm like,
you played Nelly.
Look around you. Does it really look like I can play it? And some people are very respectful, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like this is not the vibe for this room. If you really want that, go ask the main stage, maybe they can help you. And then some people are like, oh, can't you just do it? And I'm like, no, it's not what I'm booked for right now, and I don't want to either. So
well, it's good that you stand by, you know, you stand up for yourself, and you just go, no, I'm not doing it. Like, because so many people flop to it, unfortunately. Sometimes some of them, and they're just like, they let themselves get not treated like that, but they just kind of just, you know, it's like, can you play this song? Fine, okay, I will play it. And then it's like, once you play their first song, that leaves you open for more. In a way.
Another thing is that just because it's going to please one person doesn't mean that it's going to please everybody.
Exactly.
And you have to kind of make that gamble as to whether it's an overall good decision, because if you play this one song and you lose the entire dance floor, it's going to make a huge impact on what you look like as a DJ. Like, the booker's going to see that and be like,
yeah, what's going on?
What are they doing?
Yeah, that's it. Like,
and
what
you
happens
can
to the
argue
vibe?
it and be like, oh, but they requested it, and but you don't have to take all requests.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's, if you do take requests, it's like you have that ability to say no. It's still your judgment. Because someone could come up to you and be like, can you play Baby Shark? And you'd be like, no. Like, who's gonna play Baby Shark? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Some people some people, or they do a remix, or like, I'm pretty sure Jaws released a remix of it ages ago, but that's what I mean though. It's like, you shouldn't play that anywhere. Depends on what the track is, but
there's some interesting remixes out there, I will say.
So I was gonna ask as well, like, because we've got like about 20, 30, 40 minutes left.
See the time.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm timekeeper. 7.
It's 7.
Right, no, we'll go a little bit. We'll be fine.
So wait, what is the time?
7 till 8:52.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll go in like 9:15 or something. I don't know. Yeah. We'll just keep going. Intermission, guys. But I was gonna
10 to 15 minutes left of my terrible. So just keep going.
So I was gonna ask as well. So like, with like how house music and techno and like everything has kind of developed in Perth, how have you kind of like developed your tastes as well to go with it in a way?
Yeah.
Because like, you know how like a lot of different music, like, you know, it goes in stages and this and that, and everyone goes through their own phases of music and stuff like bloody emo kids and shit. Like, but like, how have you developed with your music taste over your
in
career?
general, it's changed so much. Like,
and for the better as well, would you say?
100%. I feel like I'm in a place where I've got not just like a niche, but like a overall bracket of kind of music that really fits what I like and what I play, and across a few genres. So obviously I started with like trap and dubstep and those harder electronic songs, and then went more into house, and then found drum and bass and was very obsessed with it. I still am very obsessed with it. It's amazing. But like where I find myself the most comfortable now is this kind of combination between UK breaks, drum and bass, jungle. It's this kind of combination of BPMs between maybe like 130 to 160, which very much has this kind of like driving bass line and stuff. It's just really interesting, and it all kind of comes together. Even though it's across different genres and different BPMs, it all has this same kind of underlying part to it.
Sounds very cool.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I really enjoy about when you do spend time looking through music and listening to different things. You find that some of the genres kind of blend together, and you find this kind of space where you feel most comfortable. But at the same time, you have to be so open to it. I think my music taste, even though I very much enjoy my little niche of this breakbeaty stuff, I still enjoy a lot of other things. And I think as I go on, it's going to keep changing. And it's even with what events you go to that influences the kind of music you like.
That's it, yeah.
Because there's certain things that I would have never listened to unless I'd gone to these different events. I probably wouldn't have even discovered it or like rediscovered it. Just like Jersey, like I completely written that off. I was like, that's a joke. But then I'm going to some more techno events recently. There's people playing Jersey, and I'm like, I would have never thought that this would have worked, and like I would have never thought that I would enjoy this in this context, and I do. And so I'm like, it's even like sometimes they'll play like Ariana Grande with like a like remix in a techno like house song, and you're like, this works.
This kind of
works. So it's stuff like that where like that's why you have to be so open, because if you're getting so specific, being like I listen to very specific drum and bass, then there's just so much like missing out on. It's even like with what I was saying with playing house songs faster, like I would have never done that unless I'd been open to these other genres. And even with drum and bass, you can play lots of R&B with it because of the different BPMs. So yeah, just being open to a lot of different. But yeah,
well, it's experimentation. It's creating. 100%. It's that's what's so good. Like that, it's good you're doing stuff like that, because you know it's part of playing music. It's part of it's art. That's what it is. It's art.
I'm not just a DJ.
I'm actually an artist.
No, that's one of the reasons I'm so hard on myself with the whole fact that I'm not producing at the moment. Because
I was just about to ask that. So have you got any plans or anything like that? Or?
I've been planning to for so long, and life is just so busy. But I've done it like tiniest bit, but because of all of my like musical experience in terms of doing it for so long, part of my life, I feel almost too comfortable, because I'm like, oh, I already know all the music theory, so therefore I can just go into it, even though it's definitely not the case.
Yeah, it's a different ball game almost.
It is
kind of like
just all the plugins and all of these other things.
Yep, using the DAW, the digital audio workstation, and figuring out everything, and like
I'm just like, what?
Yeah, straight over
what's going on?
But the thing is, though, is if you already know music theory and like do you know harmonic mixing as well?
Course.
Yeah, and like the Camelot wheel off by heart.
Well, I don't use it. I use the actual keys.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of my music just has what key it is.
Yep.
So no, I don't use that. But it's because the Camelot wheel is the wheel.
Wheel of circle.
Yeah,
circle of this.
Yeah. We got there. But yeah, no, that's probably one of the reasons why I feel almost too comfortable that I'm like, oh, I could pick it up anytime, but like I really couldn't, and that's one of the reasons I've been putting it off for so long. But it's something I want to do.
The thing is, though, is with production, it's like unless you're gonna be like the next Flume, or like you're gonna like really invent your own sound and like it be like Slumberjack or like.
That's what I want to do. That's the thing, is that there's.
But that can take so long.
It would, and I'm just really not into remixes that much, and I'm not a big fan of edits. It's just, especially edits where it's just two songs together, I'm like, you just do that when DJing.
If only we had more time, because this is like This is such a controversial subject that I love going into so much.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just throw it in there for people to think about later.
Because it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, I understand if it's like 2 decks kind of thing, and you can't really play both at the same time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is just ask for a third one, I guess, or do something else.
It's a weird combo.
It is.
I know.
But the thing is, like, for me, like, for example, it's same thing with you, because you got a controller that has 4 channels. It's like you can just sit at home and go, oh, these 2 work together. These 2 work together.
Yeah.
And you can just make things work. It's like how I said as well, like the rocket ship and blurred lines.
Yeah.
I just didn't think of it. Just like I pre-listened to it. Oh, okay, I can play that over top.
Yeah.
Made it happen on the fly. But it's also practice and it's everything else.
Oh, yeah.
But then that's the thing with edit packs and stuff. And like if I do say it, people probably might call me out, maybe. But the thing is though, is like I have found that in Perth, there's always a circulation of the same edit packs going around. And it's not a bad thing, but aren't we supposed to be playing different stuff?
Yeah.
Like, instead of playing everyone else's same songs that are the same thing, like, same 3 tracks that go for 6 minutes kind of thing. And it's also one of those things as well where it's like, you know, such a big conversation. It's just the same thing.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's the same thing like with VJs almost. Like VJs are good because it's unique, it's different, and it's putting a different spin on the game. Yeah. But if you're playing a song that goes for 9 minutes, then what are you doing in those 9 minutes kind of thing? It might go through 4 different songs, but it goes for 9 minutes though. Like, you know, what happened to mixing every minute or every 30 seconds or, you know, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that is needs to be a line drawn.
A line, so, it's like VJs are over here and DJs are over here.
Yeah. Or even just with edits as well. Draw a line between what's reasonable.
Yeah. And then how do you feel as well about some of the house tracks that kind of like, you know, they get like a remix. Well, it's a remix, but they'll get like, I don't know, they'll get like Toxic by Britney Spears or something like that. And then they'll just be like, because you know that you're toxic, and then it just drops, and then it just goes straight into like something ridiculously heavy or something that's...
I think those can be good. I think...
if they're done well, kind of.
Yes, it definitely has to be done well as the fact that I think there needs to be a purpose to it almost. So like, why do you have this remix of this popular song? It's because you're trying to bring more house into a venue, or you're trying to like kind of bring something different in, and I think that's really helpful, and really adds more diversity to everyone's sets and to the music being played out. I think that's really good for like using remixes of popularized songs, but I think there still needs to be like a line drawn, because if that's what you're playing every single song, I feel like you can do
that's like, because that's the thing as well, because music is so subjective. But I 100% agree with that as well. If you're playing at a commercial, like just radio, a commercial like radio place, not radio place, but like, I don't know, Brass Monkey or something like that, right? And then you're playing commercial, and then you throw one of those tracks in, and then it goes into something like that. It's introducing people. Yeah. But then if you're just playing just one after the other, and it's like, what happened to the rest of the song, kind of thing. Yeah.
Or even just how some people can't play the original of a song. It just always has to be a remix. And I'm like, you know that the original songs are there for a reason. Like sometimes they're actually much better than these other remixes. So 100%. I think people do forget that sometimes. Yeah. So.
But it's just it's the progression of the music industry kind of thing. And this is the way things are kind of going and everything, unfortunately. Because it's just like...
everyone's a DJ, everyone's a producer.
Yeah, that's it. But how do you feel about that as well? How it's like, how DJing has become more accessible. I mean, you've only been going for about 3.5 years, but I just mean like, kids are literally getting DJ controllers for their 16th birthday and stuff like that.
I think it's good, but I also think it's bad. Just, I don't know, it's very two sides.
Yeah, it's a very grey zone, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think it's really nice that people have, it's just like any other creative outlet, like people paint at home. Yeah. Like, it's the same kind of deal. It just depends on what kind of expectation they have in terms of like going forward, whether it's something they just do as a hobby, or it's something that they do or something they want to pursue. I think they just have to really make that decision, because sometimes they might take away from people that might be passionate, or like that's what they really want to do, and that's the time that they put into it. Yeah. Compared to just someone that's a bedroom DJ. So but no, it's just like any creative outlet. I feel like you should discourage it.
Well, that's exactly it, because you never know who's going to be like, you know, you teach a kid one thing and then they'll learn 10 more things, 50 more things, and then And they
and I
can
also
be.
don't mind if people have slightly more understanding of what I'm doing up there, so then they don't just like ask ridiculous requests.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's kind of nice because
Yeah.
people have an idea that I can't just go from like 110 to 150 without like doing something. So
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Trying to do something to put it in between to
yeah,
bridge
exactly.
the gap, but at the same time, like you notice it, like you straight up notice it no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
because I've also had something similar happen with me where I'll go off and play the Pump It song, you know, like you got to pump it up, don't you know, pump it up, and then I'll play Black Eyed Peas Pump It after.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, going from 120 to 150, and then trying to jump back down to Avicii or Martin Garrix or like something else back at 120, you just notice the vibe change kind of thing. But the thing is with that, though, is now I've kind of figured out a way to slow it down progressively.
Yes.
But when I first started doing that, I was just like, this is how you kill a crowd. Like, this is how the crowd just disappears kind of thing. But it's, once again, it's reading the crowd, right? Being able to just do our job.
4 minutes itself.
It's a
skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just before we wrap things up, so what are some of the bad gigs you played? What are some of the good gigs?
Bad gigs and good gigs.
Don't name names if you don't want to.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna shoot myself in the foot. I don't know. I think I've had more tough gigs necessarily. I wouldn't, not necessarily bad gigs. There have definitely been some that I have not enjoyed as such.
Yeah.
Just either the crowd was heinous or like I just wasn't enjoying the music I was playing so much. But there's less of those now than when I first started. I feel like when you first start, everything is just so new and like you feel so unprepared all the time. And so it's, you know, either difficult or you say yes to a gig that you might not necessarily like want or you're not ready for. So as well as, you know, you might, there's sometimes that like don't get very respected as well, like people treat you badly and you're like, never again.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn from those. I feel like they're all learning experiences. I would never be like, so bad, I just don't want to think about it again. But deal with those.
It's just part of the adventure. It's part of the journey.
And even with the good events that I've played, some of them are like good but have bad aspects to them, and then like you just try and make the best out of the situation. But like some of the ones the drum and bass gigs I've played recently, those have been absolutely, I've had so much fun with them, and even like Energized was so much fun too. And there's big shouts especially to the drum and bass crew in Perth because they are all just so supportive, and like the community is just so great, and
it's just so inclusive. It
really is. Out of every group that I've been part of, especially becoming more part of like the techno scene, I would say that drum and bass is still more accepting, just because you don't have to be like a certain level of alternative almost. It's really weird, but
okay.
Yeah, it's just because especially drum and bass has such a huge age range. It's been going for so long, and people come from all different walks of life and they come together for drum and bass.
It's just one big community kind of thing. Yeah.
So that's super nice. But I don't know.
Okay, no, that's all right. Yeah,
I feel like I can't pinpoint any specific good or bad ones. A lot of the bad ones I probably have like
just
put in the
out.
vault.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Let's not think about it.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
That's all right. That's good.
I guess, yeah, some of the ones where like people are being bad to me have probably been the ones that have stuck with me the most, but I wouldn't necessarily say like I've had any where I've just like completely bombed it and been like, that was terrible. But yeah.
All right. Well, also, where do you see yourself going with your DJing and Lala and everything? Where do you want to be?
Where do I see Lala?
Yeah. In the
in
next couple of years, like.
I don't see myself stopping in the next couple of years. I think it's still something that's so prevalent in my life, and I love how much it has evolved and how much is changed over the last few years. I definitely, with where I'm going now, I'm definitely sticking to the alternate scenes, sticking way more with the genres that I have more interest in, and just kind of solidifying myself in what I do rather than trying to play other things that might make the money or that kind of deal. So I definitely want to spend more time on my music and more leaps and bounds towards the kind of artist that I want to be, because I definitely don't see myself just as a DJ. I feel like I bring more to the table than that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
especially with just the way that I mix. I feel like I have my own spin on it and I do things differently rather than just sometimes a DJ is just one song to the next. Sometimes I feel like do more than that, but
well, it's like what I was saying before as well. It's like you got to bring a level of presence to the crowd.
Yes.
You know, the crowd don't want. This is also what Genga said, but the crowd don't want to go and watch someone just press play.
No.
Because if you just press play, they look at you and be like, well, he's not having fun, she's not having fun. I want to have fun, but they're not having fun. Let's go elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I guess I just want more of a name for myself in the things that I do. Want people to know that I do them well. I want to do them well as well. Like,
well, you do them well. Like,
yeah,
I've seen you play. You
I'm
do
very
well.
hard on myself though, and I think that's good and bad. I feel like it's good when you're hard on yourself because you strive to do better. But at the same time, if you're too hard on yourself, then you're never gonna put yourself forward because you're like ready, or like I'm gonna do terribly and celebrate your wins almost.
Well, that's the thing as well, where it's like you kind of play with your emotions and your feelings in a way, because it's like, you know, if you go off and you do a bad gig and you feel really bad about it, you put yourself into a state, you know, like I was kind of explaining this to a group of my mates the other day, where it's like, you know, if things do go well and things don't go well, but then, you know, we just get put into another lockdown and all you want to do is go out and play music and express yourself and have fun and this and that.
Yeah.
You kind of, you know, your mental state suffers almost in a way, because you go out and you play a gig and then you might have stuffed up 2 or 3 songs and no one really came up and said you did good. Then you're like, oh, like you just kind of get wrapped up in your own head almost.
Yeah.
But it's kind of can be how the industry can be sometimes, because it's entertainment. And that's the thing about it is entertainment has to be top notch, because otherwise people don't pay for entertainment. And it's really sad. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last thing, Damo. Do we have any comments or anything? Oh shit, we have comments.
Oh, God.
Shout outs. Oh, Ben Renner. Hello.
Oh, sup, friends.
Yep, we have.
Oh, and Jen.
Watching Aesop's Fables, Tortoise in the Hair, nice.
Oh, and Nikki is watching.
Hey, Nikki.
Oh,
Shout out to Jen for showing us what the children's stories are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome though. Like, I'm gonna keep shouting Nikki out almost every second episode, I reckon.
Nikki, if you're not watching it in the next couple of episodes, we're gonna find out if you don't comment.
Yeah. But thank you guys for watching, and yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to listen to me.
No, you got to come back for more. Like we could
keep listening.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But no, this has been a good episode, I reckon. This has been fun. I mean, like, you know,
hope.
yeah, no, it has been. I mean,
Some
like,
insights into.
You're not gonna watch it back, but I watch back almost every one of these things.
True.
Yeah, because that's how I get the highlights. So,
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
yeah. So I mean, like, I'll be the judge of this after. But it was a good episode. It was fun.
Okay, good.
And it's like what you said as well. Like you've only ever done RTR, like talking for 15 minutes. Well,
Yeah,
I just talk for an hour and 40 minutes. So.
I know. I feel like I can talk so much, but like wanting people to watch me talk, I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you sure?
In a way, though, I have to say that with this episode, if someone was trying to get into the industry, this would be a good episode to watch. From what I can gather,
that's helpful, and I feel you have an idea of like what it's like.
Because you covered so many things, such as like, you know, teaching and going into like, you know, actually what it's like doing things such as like your shot or being labeled as an EMAS DJ or the little things that can happen, the toxicity, you know, like all
Lots
sorts
of little challenges.
Yeah.
Little bumps on the road.
Yeah. All right, so this is episode 84. 84. Thank you so much for coming on, Taylor.
No, thanks. This is good, actually. I'm not feeling so weird about it now.
Yeah. Well, it's as I said, it was good to catch up because I haven't seen you since Insomnia Ball, and we haven't hung out in ages. So
that was good.
Yeah, it was good. And then now I have to get Harrison on.
Bad boy.
Yeah.
Will he fit through the door?
He better be able to fit through the door. Perth's tallest DJ.
We just have to find someone and then get the tapes and review DJ.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Done.
All right, but thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun. And now you have to sign the board, but
yes, I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you gotta do that. Because I need a signature right there. Damo, can you pull it up, please? See that? So that everyone has to sign that. Everyone. Yeah.
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay.
I believe in myself.
Okay, I believe in you.
Yeah.
All right. This is episode 84. We're wrapping up now. All right. So we'll see you guys next week with. I got to start preparing for this a bit more often. Damo always growls at me for it. What month are we in? July? Yeah. Oh, we got Rach on next week. Rach Good.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through her label and everything and her hip hop and all the artists she's signing and all the cool stuff that she's doing. So
Very nice.
it should be awesome. All right, we'll see you guys next week. So catch ya. We got a wave as well. Damo makes us wave.
It's gonna be screenshots of my face, baby.